When we enjoy a glass of wine, we often think of images of wineries and winemakers. But we can't forget the most important and critical component of crafting a great wine: the vineyard. The process of planting and nurturing grapes in the vineyard is known as viticulture. In this video, we'll explore the importance of the vineyard and how what happens in the vineyard directly translates to the quality of the wine we enjoy. This is Viticulture 101. There are four main elements critical to viticulture: the vine, the concept of terroir, vine training, and the vine life cycle. A vine is comprised of the root system, the trunk, the cordon or cane, the bud, the shoot, also known as the spur, this is where the leaves and fruit grow, and of course the fruit, or the grape cluster. In most cases, a vine will bear fruit 3 years after planting, and a vine can be in its prime for many years, 10 to 75 years for most grape varieties. The most important viticulture question is, where will this vine thrive? Matching the varietal type to the optimal vineyard location is like a marriage. The site needs to complement the temperament of the grape varietal. The key element that we evaluate to determine our best vineyard location is the vineyard's terroir. So, what the heck is terroir? Terroir is the harmonic relationship between the most critical components we assess in finding the right vineyard. In the simplest terms, there are 3 elements that comprise a vineyard's terroir: climate, location, and soil. Let's start with climate. Think about it this way. Specific to climate, some like it hot, and some don't. For instance, Cabernet Sauvignon or Chardonnay like it hot, so low valleys with hot ripening seasons are a perfect match. Pinot Noir, being more sensitive and temperamental, thrives in cooler coastal climates and on hillsides protected from extreme heat. And Riesling, preferring warm days and cool nights when ripening, performs well from foothills to high mountain climates. Precipitation is another key factor in evaluating climate. Rain is a welcomed friend, but timing is everything. Spring rains can be a real boost for our vineyard, but summer rains can be detrimental, potentially causing damage or rot to our grapes, especially once our fruit begins to develop and mature on the vine. Once we know the ideal climate for our grapes, we're ready to find the right vineyard location. Now, location is comprised of altitude, latitude, and exposure. Location, though, is about much more than topography and a spot on the map. When we assess a vineyard location, we also carefully consider our vine's exposure to sunlight, wind, and frost. Finally, there's one more critically important component to terroir: soil. Like a good marriage, a vine benefits from a few challenges and must work every day to be successful. The harder a vine works to thrive, the more complexity will develop in the grapes. So, contrary to what you might expect, we do not want nutrient-rich soils. Rich soils promote happy vines. Happy vines expend their energy on plentiful leaves and shoots. Because a happy vine's energy is dedicated to the leaves and shoots, happy vines do not produce flavorful, concentrated fruit. Rocky, quickly draining soils are sometimes the best soils because a vine's root system must work hard to penetrate deep into the soil in search of water. This process enables the vine to capture more of the character of the vineyard's soil. Now that our vine has the optimal location, climate, and soil, we're ready to trellis and prune our vine. This process is known as training. Training offers us one last opportunity to manipulate the realities of our given terroir. Terroir provides us with our deck of cards. Training allows us to shuffle that deck of cards in our favor. There are 2 main training strategies: freestanding training and non-freestanding training, or wire-trained. One classic freestanding training technique is gobelet, French for goblet, because the vine naturally forms a goblet shape. This is good for warm and dry regions where rot is not a problem. Gobelet cannot be maintained or harvested by machine, so it's more costly and not practical for large vineyard sites. The 2 non-freestanding wire-train systems are guillot and cordon. Wire-trained systems allow us to more efficiently manage our vineyard through mechanized maintenance and harvest. With the Guillot technique, 1-year-old wood, or canes, are trained along wires and will bear fruit for the year. For the cordon technique, the trunk of the vine is connected to a multi-year wood called a cordon. The cordon is trained horizontally with spurs or shoots grown along its length. Finally, being familiar with the life cycle of the vine will allow us to properly care for the vine and, importantly, further tweak the quality of our grapes. A vine's life cycle is comprised of sap pushing, bud break, flowering, fruit set, veraison, ripening, harvest, and winterization. Throughout the life cycle of our vine and long before harvest, diligent vineyard maintenance is crucial and goes far beyond irrigation, weeding, and disease or pest control. Before the process of sap pushing, when the vine transitions from its annual dormant to an active state, our critical maintenance includes the pruning of our vineyard. By pruning our vines to have fewer spurs or canes, we're concentrating the energy of the vine to those fewer spurs or canes, and we select which buds will grow the new shoots and fruit. Veraison allows us another opportunity to optimize the quality of our grapes through yield adjustment. Veraison is when the grapes slowly turn from green to gold for white wines or from green to purple for red wines. At this time, we can evaluate the individual grape clusters and remove the clusters that are unripe and not desirable, concentrating the remaining crop. Grapes with concentrated flavors lead to higher quality wine, and as we all know, higher quality wine leads to happier wine lovers. To recap, there are 4 main elements critical to viticulture: the vine, the concept of terroir, vine training, and the vine life cycle. Remember, a lot of effort goes into your wine before it reaches the winery. The next time you open a bottle of wine, raise a glass to the vineyard. This has been Viticulture 101 by Pacific Rim Winery.